Hello.
How's your arm feeling after Saturday? Have you ever been the only quarterback in practice before?
I have not ever been the only quarterback at a practice, but I thought Andrew Janoko did a good job of. Usually, most of my throws are in individual before we go to team period, so we kind of peeled back a little bit on those, and I feel great. I feel ready. Usually throw a bunch before and after practice, peeled back a little bit on those. So I think if you just did throw count, I probably threw roughly the same amount of footballs as I usually do. So I feel great.
When did you find out that you'd be the only quarterback available at the night scrimmage before fans, and what was kind of your mindset after you found out?
So they said something to us in the morning that, we had a whole situation going on, and basically said there's a chance you're going to be the only guy, so, get ready. And, I think my mindset on that is I've kind of been preparing that way for 2 years now, so I didn't really change anything just because of that. I've always prepared really well, made sure I knew all the plays in the script, and, I think that's part of being a backup in this league is you always got to be ready. And, like I said, I've been preparing like that for 2 years, so when the opportunity presented itself, I felt like I was ready.
Jake, Coach Zimmer said you told him not to cut back at all. Has that sort of always been maybe your mindset?
Yeah, I think someone in my situation as an undrafted guy that's kind of been on practice squad, those reps are really valuable. So I didn't want anyone to think that I didn't want to take every single one of those reps, and I didn't want to be in a situation where they were cutting practice and taking valuable reps away from other guys, but also myself. So I just thought, with the situation the way it is, I want to get as many reps out of it as I can. And like I said, when you're a backup quarterback, those reps are really valuable. And so I wanted to take every single one.
You were pretty highly touted out of high school and then a starter from year one at Washington. What were the last 2 years like when you come in and for the first time in your life you're not playing once a week?
Yeah, I mean, it was unique. I never had a redshirt year or anything like that in college. So the first year was definitely, spent a lot of time in weight room. And I think just in general, going undrafted and having some success, then going undrafted, it definitely makes you look in the mirror and be like, all right, I went undrafted for a reason. What do I need to get better at? And creating a plan for the season where, I was ready to go if something ever came up where I needed to be ready, but I was also having some long-term goals that weren't just week to week with the game. So spent a lot of time in the weight room with Keys and Uwe and Chaz back in the day. But I think it was just having a long-term plan and really looking at it like I can either be upset that I went undrafted and make a lot of excuses for, people don't value this, or, everybody always has some different excuses for why they went undrafted. And I think for me, I had confidence in my ability, but I needed to make some pretty major improvements on some other things, and I felt like I spent the last 2 years doing that. And I think a big part of that was also Clint and Gary Kubiak investing a lot of time and effort into making sure that I was on top of different playbook stuff and giving me things to work on before and after practice. And basically it's finding any possible way that I can get better without actually taking a ton of reps.
Approach this offseason when the team doesn't re-sign Sean, knowing that you do have a legitimate chance to compete for that number 2 job more than other years, and now obviously getting reps, all eyes are on you in terms of that competition?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always been someone that prepared pretty hard regardless, so I didn't really necessarily change anything just because somebody was signed, somebody wasn't. I think something that I've really learned in the last 2 years is I have very little control over a lot of different things that have a lot of impact on my whole situation and stuff like that. And the more time you spend on that, the more time you're wasting. And so it's just separate those. Management makes whatever decisions they're going to do, and I'm just really focused on getting better and like I said, just having a plan on, okay, here's some things I want to get better in the off season, putting together a plan where I feel like I day to day focused on different things and have a routine, and hopefully get into a situation like this where now I'm getting a lot of reps and the spotlight's kind of on and I'm ready.
Speaking of the spotlight being on, Mike Zimmer made note of the fact Saturday that you are vaccinated, with many thousands now looking on. What is your view on the vaccine?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of those things. made a personal choice. Now everybody knows that personal choice, but is what it is. I'm not looking to get in the middle of all those different conversations. Kind of hectic.
Jake, how do you look at this opportunity? Do you see it as, man, this is my chance really to show everybody that, I can play at this level, I can be an effective quarterback? Or do you just say, I'm here to do a job for the team right now?
I think for me, I look back at Saturday's practice and, I've had better practices than that. It just hasn't been as large of a sample size and as many reps. So, I've had some really good practices here over the last 2 years, made a lot of strides, and I felt like that was kind of an average practice for myself, just as far as I felt like I still missed some stuff that usually I don't miss. And like I said, it's just a bigger sample size, and there's definitely a little bit more of a spotlight because of the whole situation. But, I've had better practices than that, and I felt like that was pretty average as far as just execution and stuff like that, but just more of a spotlight.
Do you see this week as a big chance for you to show everybody what you can do?
Yeah, I think it just shows, Gary Kubiak used to say, nobody knows if you're ready until you just get thrown in there. So, I think there was some confidence as far as my preparation, stuff like that, among the coaches, and or at least I felt like they did. Maybe they were lying, but I felt like they had some confidence in me being able to go through practice and deal with that many reps and stuff like that. But it's obviously an opportunity. You get a lot of reps, try and make the most of those reps, and really just take it one day at a time.
What areas did you focus your attention on to make those improvements that you were referring to?
Yeah, so I think one thing that I've always heard my whole career is I don't have a strong arm, and so spent a lot of time with some quarterback guys before the combine. Felt like I made a lot of strides there. Continue to work with them and work on some different things, and so for me it was just getting some disassociation between my hips and my shoulders and really creating some torque. Never played any rotational sports growing up. Never played baseball, golf, tennis, any of that stuff, and so it was just learning how to become a rotational athlete. That was big for me. And then, getting to the next level, learning playbook and stuff like that. I've always been able to pick up playbooks pretty quickly, but just learning the ins and outs and going into my third year in the same offense has definitely benefited me. But then other than that, I used to just try and stay by Gary Kubiak's hip when I was on scout team and he was in the back, and he would just kind of talk me through some different things and say, hey, when you get this look in this play, this, so you can do this, and just trying to simplify some things down. So a lot of knowledge from a guy that has coached a lot of football and played a lot of football, so try to make the most of that.
Jake, what's been your communication with Kirk Cousins since Saturday, and what do you think it'll be moving forward with him on the COVID-19 reserve list?
Yeah, Kirk's been great to me. Like I said, 2 years practice squad guy and stuff like that. He's been very approachable. I think I've benefited a lot in my development just from him being such an open book on. I don't feel uncomfortable going up to him and asking, hey, what'd you think on that play? He'll walk you through it. And so, yeah, he reached out after Saturday scrimmage and just said, congrats, glad it went well and stuff like that. And so, it's just how you'd expect. He's a pretty classy guy, going to pretty much do everything the right way. So, communication's been great for the last 2 years, and I'm sure that'll continue. But I don't know as far as all the COVID stuff and all that. I have no idea.
The meetings today were virtual. I would assume, did the other quarterbacks, were they with you in the meetings virtually?
Yes.
And Mike Zimmer said that they might consider this year, like some other teams have, where you keep one quarterback effectively quarantined on their own. I think you guys did that last year. What was the setup like last year? Who was kind of the one kept off? Or?
We didn't do that, but yeah, that's Zimmer's call. Whatever they say, I will do.
Jake, how often have you thrown to Jefferson or Thielen before Saturday's practice?
Hadn't thrown to Jefferson a ton. After my rookie year, I spent the off season up here working out at ETS with Adam, so threw a lot of routes with him then, and I think it's a little bit different, but it's really not. You really it's timing, get the ball to a spot. And that's pretty much it. So it was definitely nice to work with those guys, but we got some pretty good guys that can roll in the twos and the threes too. So I didn't feel like there was a huge difference. Just if it's a 5-and-a-hitch throw and you got to get it to a landmark, then 5-and-a-hitch throw, put on the landmark, and they're going to be there.